Yeah, development charge. If you want to build a single detached in parts of the GTA, it was more than I paid for my entire house, and it's even worse than that. And it's what people don't get about development charges.
This episode of the Under the Table podcast is brought to you by Shrubs.me.
They say AI is taking everyone's jobs, and honestly, no one knows whose is safe. But here's the thing. When you own your audience, your content, and your brand, you don't wait for someone else to save you. You build your own future. Shrubs puts everything you create in one beautiful hub. More reach, more fans, more income. Shrubs.me, your future, your rules. And when you get there, I'll be right there with you, helping you thrive and grow.
And so that's kind of like the third part, right? That's like, hey, we got a problem. This is what it is. It's an affordability crisis. Now, okay, what caused that problem? Mostly supply and demand, higher construction costs, things like that, taxes, levies, land costs. What's the solution? What's the, this is like your guys' thing. Like this is like you guys are the best at this. And what's the solution, right? Like where do you guys see the gaps that are going to get us to where we need to be to at least bring a little bit more balance back in?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, first thing is taxes. Again, when I bought my home, development charges were under $5,000. They're now in London 47,000. Some places in the GTA they're up to $200,000 a home. That's just untenable. We got to get those down.
So
there's
dumb.
no way around.
Well,
It is, and not only
it's more than your first house.
It is more than, yeah, development charge. If you want to build a single detached in parts of the GTA, it was more than I paid for my entire house. And it's even worse than that. And it's what people don't get about development charges. Because development charges are paid by the developer at the beginning, they have to pay them when they get their building permit in most jurisdictions, though Ontario is trying to change that. Okay. So you're building some project, could be a high rise, could be single detached, whatever. As a developer, you are paying those development charges and financing them with a construction loan. So you're paying interest on that. The developer, if they obviously want to get financing, they also have to build in a profit margin on top of those development charges, or else they won't get financing. Then those development charges, the interest, and the profit margin then enter the final price. So the buyer's paying for that. And then for the privilege of paying for all that, you get to pay a 5% GST, an 8% PST, a 2% land transfer tax, and if you're in the city of Toronto, another 2% land transfer tax. So you take, even it's a condo, might be an $80,000 development charge in the city of Toronto. After the construction loan's paid and the margins paid, that 80 grand turns into 110 grand. Then you're layering 17% of PST, GST, provincial land transfer, federal land transfer on top of that. So it's not just that we have all these taxes and charges, but they compound on each other and you get these taxes on taxes. Yeah. So that's the number one thing we need to look at. Approvals processes is another one. They take too long. We have to be realistic around land use, and we have to tie that to immigration, right? We have to understand if our population is going to grow, our land use is going to grow. There's no way around that, right? And we have this idea that we can keep growing the population. And to be clear, I support immigration. This is not saying, hey, let's completely close the border. But what I am saying is that our immigration policies and our land use policies have to be aligned. They can be aligned up here or they can be aligned down here. But if immigration's up here and land use is down here, the system's going to break. So it's all about this, alignment of policies. It's all around having sensible taxation, avoiding tax on tax. Like it's one thing, like let's say I'm the mayor. It's one thing for me to ask you guys if you're building a new home or buying a new home. It's like, hey, could you kick in some bucks for the new library? But why am I charging you GST on that? You are helping finance an asset that helps the entire community. Why am I placing a consumption tax on you for that privilege?